gentlemen, I'm very happy to be with you this evening because you could say, in fact, that in the following presentation, I am demonstrating the beginning of my songwriting career. It happened with Sappho, the poet Sappho. She lived from 610 BCE to 570 BCE. That's roughly 40 years of age. We don't know exactly these are estimated dates. We do know that Sappho is the oldest, that is to say, the earliest known woman poet in Western literature. Her only competitor that I can think of would be Moses' sister Miriam, who led the Hebrews in a chant of triumph after their liberation from Egypt. She danced, she played the timbrel, and she recited a couple of verses the Bible gives them. But the trouble is, we can't prove that she wrote them. She might have taken them from a song by her brother Moses. That is a possibility. So right now, Sappho is the earliest known woman poet, and she is reputed to have been one of the best. She wrote a tremendous quantity of verse. All the ancients attest to it, and yet barely a pamphlet's worth survives. It's a great mystery, and I've written poems of lamentation about it, but tonight I am going to write not only a poem, that is to sing to you, not only a poem that I wrote, but the music to which I set it, and I set it to a tune that is in fact Sappho's own. Here's what her stanzas sounds like if you just say the rhythm chart. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 5 and 1 and a 2 and... I wasn't able to stop myself from singing. And so that's because I have done so much singing of her poetry. You see, here's the sheet music for the song I'm going to be singing to you tonight that I wrote. I'll sing it for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 5 and 1 and a 2 and... You see how the rhythm scheme is enough to get you going composing. Now, I've written a 3-part song to her. Each part has 4 liners. So let's start. In the first one, I make the point that Plato is said to have declared Sappho deserves to be considered the 10th of the Muses. There are 9 Muses, patrons of the arts and sciences, goddesses all. Sappho was a mortal woman, but evidently Plato was thinking about perhaps a higher ontological status for her. And so I am as excited about it as he was. So here's my first part of the song. Gratefully at dawn to the gods proclaiming, naught more happy comes to the rueful poet, who was in a desert abandoned, shouted, waiting for answer. I in Sappho's strains, who would honor lend her, praising one by Plato adored, the 10th of Muses named, and lauded for lamentation, call on her spirit. Having known the light of the heart in friendship, here is one who censured, neglected, never ceased to echo. Nightingales know, and roses, how she was praised. Prophets cannot claim to predict the future. Rather, they will speak on behalf of prisoned flames encased in clay, that a freeing greatness enter their nature. I'm prepared to call Sappho a prophet, just as in the Bible. In fact, Miriam is called neviah, which means a prophet, because the word prophet, the pro in prophet, doesn't mean ahead in the sense of future time, to predict the future. The for, pro means for, means on behalf of. You speak when you're a prophet on behalf of a greater power that you feel within you. It suddenly occurs to me, wait a minute, do I have it? Yeah, I've got a tuner here, and I set it in F. That'll help me for stanza 2. Stanza 2, I try to explain how it is that I dare to feel that I can recreate Sappho from within, while knowing so little about her. I don't even know Greek, so I can't read the handful of poems that remain from her, though I have translated some good renderings from the Russian by Vyacheslav Ivanov. Nonetheless, I feel a deep kinship with her, and I compare this in my next part of the poem to what a child experiences listening to the ocean and a seashell. What the child experiences is an ocean in a very special sense. The child is not hearing the physical, geographical sea. What the child hears, I learned this in a science encyclopedia, and it thrilled me, and it still does every time I think about it. What the child is hearing is the amplified sound of the blood flowing in its own ear. In other words, you're listening to the ocean that's within you, and it's amplified by the intricacies of the shape of the seashell. So from that point of view, you see, like as the child who hears in the seashell the ocean that is within, so I, perhaps listening to the rhythm, can communicate with by hearing the Sappho that is within. Let's try that again with a pitch. Oh, I melodic memories lording nightly, heard a brave command in the present moment, faith restore, and know in the form you're granted, Sappho reviving, love a surgent kin to the ocean surf wave, rushing, pouring, whir, in a world so sorrow, heart and want have mustering told me, hark to dark ere the day break. Patient while I wait for the hymn's arrival, aid I've long besought for the blood translation, so to feel the tone of the carmine ardor loud in the flowing. Me in vein and artery living ocean, let the tidal winds of the ancient rhythm rouse to hear the roar of the inward streaming, shouting, resounding. In my last part 3, I imagine a chorus joining me to sing my hymn to Sappho, just as the currents join the waves, join the droplets in the ocean. So I'm hoping that responsive souls will hear and join in as I sing. Vast the chorus, varied in fragrant splendor, thronged in song, a progeny unexampled, offering a knowledge to us enamored, ardors unvanished. Come, approach, be greeted, O Master Sappho, source of productivity unabated. I your lyrics hold in my heart engraven. Let me embrace you. Nothing grants more amply the gentle pleasure which, when thought excited, begins upwelling than the growing strength of a coming center, known from the Sapphic Though your poems oft were obliterated, woe by modern hands never yet recovered, we, defying envy that cannot conquer, laud you, beloved.